Hello, and welcome to The Fool and the Philosopher.
The Philosopher and the Fool. You look at the orange box and Portal and Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
You look at those two games. And so Valve Studio wasn't very big. They also did beta testing though. They let people do early builds of the game to try it. So for Half-Life 2, I think you could play one of their test levels, the same thing with Half-Life 1. Portal was hidden, but it ran on the Half-Life technology, and they tested that internally. And when they put out the tests, they not only would they have other people test them and give feedback on how to improve it, they would play a level over and over and over again and see every single problem. They'd look for every single texture that's jutting through another texture. They would comb over the whole thing. There used to be a job called video game tester.
Yeah.
And the video game tester job, people are like, oh, I want to be a video game tester. No, you don't. That job is incredibly boring.
I like that kind of thing a little
You
bit.
walk in a grid.
Yeah.
You actually are given a grid map to travel through maps, and you're supposed to look at the whole map and mark on it where there are errors. And you're supposed to try something over and over and over again to see if it ever crashes. You're supposed to try to find every single bug. One of your jobs is to walk into a corner and jump repeatedly to see if you can knock yourself through the wall.
Yeah.
And they did that to Half-Life a lot. There's still a few bugs like that in there, but they're quite hard to find. And there's other games which also have those exploits and bugs in them, but games used to really test that for all the different computers, so that when they released, the game would work. And it used to be a massive scandal if there was a game crashing bug in your game.
Yeah, and then
They had to release a patch, and that patch was really annoying to get.
Yeah, like War for the... No, what's it called? War for the Ring? Like the one made by Liquid Studios.
Yeah, War for the Ring.
You can't play it unless you get the update patch, but they have like a little launcher built into the game where you can update it for the...
Yeah.
I'm sure if you get it... I don't know if you can buy it anywhere, actually, no. Maybe on GOG. GOG tends to put the patches into the game.
I don't know, because when I played it on CD.
Yeah. But you can... There's like a patch for it that we had access to somehow. I think you could go to their website.
Yes, their website linked to...
Yeah, to a fix. Yeah. And like Daggerfall had a patch you could download from their website, and Morrowind did the same thing. But you would get like one patch, not a patch every other week where they're like, oh yeah, we fixed this other huge, massive problem, and we'll give you the rest of the game later as DLC.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to like Sim Life and Sim Earth, massive simulation games simulating evolution and tectonic erosion and plates moving and all that sort of thing. And that's on a computer with probably like 1,000th the processing power of a...
I could run Sim Life on my netbook.
Yeah, like if you have a computer that can't run anything and you want a game to play some DOSBox games, like Sim Life or Sim Earth, and they run even in the emulator on computers with very little going for them. But RimWorld grinds to a halt.
I remember I had my netbook in biology class, and I was running Sim Life, and my biology teacher walked over and he's looking at it. And then he sat in the chair next to me. Like this was during the class, like people were doing projects, but I had finished my work.
Yeah.
And he sat next to me. And we just started talking about the game, and I gave him the keyboard. And the rest of the class, the biology teacher just played the video game. And students would come over to ask him questions. He'd give them a quick answer so he could play Sim Life.
Yeah. Well, it's a pretty cool game. There hasn't really been people try to make these evolution games, but the scale of Sim Life was the evolution wasn't very deep in many ways. But the scale actually made it a fun game versus a lot of people... there's a guy, I keep seeing his YouTube videos pop up. He's making a game, it's like a Dark Souls top-down sort of game, where the monsters evolve in the world. And he's put so much effort into making the monsters evolve, and I'm looking at... And I've been watching a few of these videos and thinking, why? You aren't... This isn't a monster simulator, you're fighting the monsters. You will never notice these changes.
Yes. That is actually something that the...
Like Phoenix Point?
No, not Phoenix Point team. They didn't realize that. The No Man's Sky team realized about their generation.
Oh, yeah?
Is no one cares.
Yeah.
Actually. When you hear about it, it sounds cool, but when you play the game, no one cares. And so their design policy changed to be more tight and more uniform.
Yeah. So
things have impact and cool looks rather than being randomly generated. They still have the random generation, but there's more narrative and more order to it.
Yeah. Because... You're like, oh yeah, this one's 3% thinner and eats 10% less. It's I'm hitting it with my sword. I'm not.
Yeah.
Now, if you're playing a game like Spore, it's a different story, where it's all about getting those adjustments. Or like Sim Life, you're like, I want to see if this super squirrel species I made can spread around the planet and go.
Yeah.
But if you're actually...
And then it gets eaten by a mega slug.
But if you're playing a game that is not about the evolution and you just have that as a feature in the game, nobody's going to notice.
Yeah.
Ultima Online had a whole ecosystem simulated, and nobody noticed except when all the animals started dying because they had destroyed the reproductive cycle of the animals by killing so many of them.
Yeah.
And then the whole ecosystem collapsed. And they're like, why'd that happen? It's like, because it was simulated and you just killed everything. So I don't think all this power, all this storage, it's not really...
it's like, oh yay, I have a terabyte drive now.
Yeah.
I can store 10 games.
Like, I wonder if...
Like, my terabyte drive is for storing videos and sound.
I have The Witcher 3, which takes up 100 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Skyrim takes up 100 gigabytes.
It should only take about 68.
No, Skyrim only takes up like 20 or less. Or maybe it's 5 gigabytes even. I have a lot of mods, okay?
That goes to show how much mine is modded. I think it should only take 68. I guess.
No, I think it's like 5 to 20, somewhere in there, I think. But yeah, no, I have a lot of mods. But still, well, no, the Skyrim is my fault.
Yes.
But still, no, it is my fault. But no, okay, it's my fault. But The Witcher is a massive game, to be fair.
Yeah.
It takes up 100 gigabytes. But that's 2 games that take up 200 gigabytes. You can fit the entire GameCube library into, I can't remember, it's like 60 gigabytes or something.
Remember, I still have them, but there's the CD racks we have with the massive stack of games.
Yeah, it'd be like 500 games on a CD.
Well, not even the 500 games CD, like just our,
just the
our
CD.
rack of CDs with all of our different childhood video games.
And those were all on one computer. And that computer had really good storage for the day. It was like 200 gigabytes or something.
Yeah.
Or
that was a good computer.
Or was it 30 gigs? Anyways, it had a lot for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this...
We never ran out of space on it.
We've never had a moment since the Pentium, as far as I'm aware. Like, I think the 3060, when it was announced, could have almost been one of those moments. Mm-hmm. But then the price, like... I was thinking, because I had some money I wanted to spend, right? Because I'd gotten some gift money, and I was like, I got it. That's why I got the handheld. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to use the gift money on that. But I was trying to figure out what to spend it on. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a graphics card for my computer. Because everyone says graphics cards are cheap and everything's getting cheaper. And I'm like, okay, I don't need to get a 5090, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get a nice, cheap, like, you know... I don't even need a 3060. You look at a 3060 right now, they're like $500 or something.
Get a 1080, like the same I have.
Yeah, so when I look at the 3060, right? It costs like $500.
Yeah.
You look at the 1080 Ti, which you have.
Yeah.
It's like $500. I was like, I want a 1660, right? $500. They all cost $500.
I think the 1080 might be the best of all of them.
Well, 3060 uses less power.
Yeah.
But the 1080 has the 1080 is kind of like the 1030.
Yeah.
In my opinion, where it's the power to performance to stability is like nothing else touches it, right?
I thought the 280.
No, the 280 is like super power hungry.
Okay.
Yeah. No, the next generation was more powerful, but it was super power hungry. But yeah, no, the 1080 Ti is kind of like the best chip NVIDIA ever made, really.
What's fun is you can have multiple of them.
Just put them together. Yeah.
You can stack them if your computer's set up for that.
But I think the 1030, the one I have.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's not a gaming. That's made for office computers so that they can open up like SketchUp, right? Mm-hmm. But it's passive draw, which means you don't have to give it a power supply. You just plug it into your board and it takes the power from the board. It's good to go. It doesn't make any noise because it's passive draw. There's nothing to cool.
Yeah.
And it can run anything but the most modern games.
You're supposed to replace liquid coolant, aren't you?
You top it up, I think, yeah. You don't have to replace it. I think you just have to top it up.
Huh. Wonder how you do that.
But there's closed and open liquid cooling, and I think you have closed, so you might not replace it.
Okay.
I'm not sure how that all works. Yeah. I don't have any, because I don't need it, because I got a 1030.
Yeah.
I got the superior card. It doesn't need to cool. But I want them to make, like, a 5030, right? Just make... But I don't think they can, right? Like, this is a card that draws less than 75 watts, and yet has performance that rivals pretty decent hardware, right?
Yeah.
Like, it can run Heroes of Might and Magic. It can run... I'm pretty sure my CPU can do that on its own.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my RAM can do that. I'm pretty sure my SSD can do that on its own. But it runs basically... It can run my heavily modded Skyrim I was just talking about. It's fine. It can run emulators. Well, to be fair, I have a really good CPU, right? So that kind of makes up for a lot. But they just need to make like a really efficient card now.
Yeah, no, so I think what it is, I think the technology has advanced. I think we have stagnated.
I don't know if the technology has it. Like, I think it's sideways, right? Like I was saying, that this CRT they're like, let's make something new. We already perfected the CRT, so we're gonna make something new instead. And it's not gonna be better. It's actually gonna be significantly worse. But now we can keep improving, and we're like, look, it's so good now. It's so good now, and it's the CRT's still way ahead. But they can keep pretending that they're improving because once they ran out of stuff to improve the CRT, they were like, well, we'll make LCD amazing. Then LCD gets perfect, and they're like, hey, let's abandon LCD.
Liquid crystal.
Yeah. Let's abandon LCD, and then we'll make LED really good. And then LED got as good as they could, and they're like, oh no, we're going to make OLED now. So now we're going to perfect OLED. So I think they actually get, what they do is they make it worse, but they keep increasing the price. And then, so they can, because have you noticed how advertising goes? They always say the new and improved, or the new, or the revolutionary. It always has to be a technological improvement, as if the only way to advance human society is through new and better. It's not through cheaper or more sturdy, or like it's always just new. And I don't mean like buy the new thing. It's actually like, oh yeah, our scientists, like mop companies will say our new formula, our new like cleaning formula, our new airflow dynamics in our vacuum cleaner make it clean 15% cleaner. It's like the science obsession has spread to like the idea that science moves ever forward, humanity moves like the idea of endless progress is in advertising. It's in everything, and I don't think it's true.
So I have this book here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the page that the stuff is. It's called In Fragrant Collecto.
Yeah.
So on the cover here, it has an image.
Flagrante collecto.
It has an image of 7 different mixers.
Yeah.
So this comes from the mixing bubble.
Yeah, that's a great example.
And so it's like all the different technologies for the different mixers that you had. All
Whereas-
the different whisks.
Whereas just a basic whisk is already perfect, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But they're like, oh yeah, no, you got to have this crazy.
So this one has a crank.
Yeah.
This one here's a nightmare to use. Do you know how this one works?
It's like a plunger or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
You pull it. There's another crank. There are 2 stirs in the image.
Yeah, but they don't look like a normal whisk.
No.
They're all fancy
And then
weird.
there are... This one must have been a nightmare to clean.
It's like a little spinning whisk thing.
Yeah, so this one's all about surface area, so those spin in opposite directions.
Right, so
It's got a double gear inside
So
it.
it looks like a feather duster combined with a whisk on a...
Yeah, so it's got a double gear system in it, so when you crank it, it spins in opposite directions.
Yeah.
Which would make a mess.
And then this one, the holdy bit, has spikes on it for some reason. I don't know how you hold that, actually.
That's the handle, so you hold it there,
Yeah.
and then you spin
You
that.
shove your palm into the spikes.
Yeah.
Gets a good grip.
Yeah, but I think this is a great example of sideways technology.
Yeah, but this is what TVs are doing now.
Yeah. Oh, here's clothespins.
Oh yeah, like
And one of them took over.
yeah. Let's stop reinventing the clothespin, right? Like, just
Yeah.
there's a perfect one right there. Look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this book is actually like everything in here.
And some of these are old technologies.
Like, stop reinventing the wheel. And like, I don't mind people experimenting and trying to figure it out, right? But you do that in your own time and not try to upsell it as an improvement. Like,
But if you're not subselling, then it's not worth your while.
don't lie to me and tell me that this phone without a headphone jack
Yeah.
is an improvement. Like, it's a phone and it doesn't have the ability to hear things. It's not a phone anymore. What is it? It's like a... And also this, right? Clamshell.
Yeah.
Your buttons and your screen, now you have to spend money on screen protectors. You have to get a carrying case, right? Clamshell, you just close. The buttons are protected. The screen's protected. You can chuck it in your bag. You don't have to worry about it being
I
damaged.
don't know where its case went, but its case was a clear plastic-y rubber.
Yeah.
And it made it so you could drop that thing and it would just bounce.
But you don't need it. You can just close it, chuck it in your bag, chuck it in your pocket. Because also, it doesn't weigh 500 pounds. This is lighter than your cell phone.
Yes.
Like, cell phones are heavy. Like, the reason I don't carry anything in my pockets anymore, I had a cell phone in there for years, right? And it hurt my hip because they're heavy. It makes me walk funny.
One of the reasons I wear jackets
Yeah.
is to put stuff in their pockets so I don't put them in my pants pockets.
Yeah. Like they're... And then you've got, like, the Ridge wallet. You've got the stupid wireless headphones. I mean, I think wireless headphones have their place. Like, we've talked about wireless headphones before. You're digging a hole, very handy.
Yes.
Because you don't get the wire tangled in your
Even
hands.
going running.
Yeah, you're going running, doesn't get tangled. You're...
That is why I bought my wireless in the first place. I bought them for a phone that actually had a sound jack, but I started going to the gym, and I realized it was becoming impractical to wear my big aviators over my ears while running.
Yeah. And also, you don't have a jack, so you need something that's wireless, right? Yeah.
Well, I need it after the fact. The first one I bought.
Right. But yeah, I think technology hasn't improved since like 1990. It's just they found cheaper ways to make more garbage that doesn't last as long. And then
it's a funny dual argument of me saying that AI is going to improve way faster than people think, and you're saying technology doesn't improve, it's just garbage.
Technology hasn't. It's funny actually.
Well, I what I want to say, I think you're right. Technology hasn't improved.
Yeah.
But more of it exists, and some of it has advanced. But advancement doesn't mean improvement.
Even with AI, like LLMs, right?
Yeah.
Vicuna was like, my mind was blown. I could talk this thing, right? It was like, okay, I had like this sort of, it wasn't a panic attack, but it was similar where I was like, technology is advancing faster than my ability to adopt to the idea of technology advancing, right? Like, because Vicuna was such a huge improvement from AI Dungeon, and I could run it on my own computer. It didn't take a supercomputer to run. I could put it on my computer. It ran very slowly, but I could run it. And then there was Llama 2 came out, and suddenly I could run a way better thing faster. And I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. And then the Orca came out, and Microsoft never actually released it, but they were like, but their benchmarks are like, this thing's as good as ChatGPT, which had released it by that point, I believe. And it takes up like 8 gigabytes. Like it's a fraction the size, and this thing's as good. And it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. And then Manticore came out, and Wizard came out, which were both refinements of Llama, and they blew Llama 2 out of the water, and it was like, wow, this is unbelievable. And now you have like, Grok and O3 and Claude and whatnot. They're very good at having coherent conversations, much better than these ones ever were. You don't need to prompt, like you used to have to be good at prompting, right? People used to talk about, I'm going to be a prompter when like as a joke, right? You don't have to prompt anymore. Even to generate images, you don't have to know how to prompt anymore.
Well, like that prompt engineering, like, oh, take this. I don't know how someone could have there's two things from that. One is we're going to spend government money to train everyone in prompt engineering.
Yeah.
The other one was job application requiring 2 years of prompt engineering skill.
Yeah.
It's like, give a middle finger to that person whichever HR hag wrote that. But the prompt engineering, okay, let's make a game. It'll be a turn-based battle game. We'll start with 2 factions. I want you to come up with, like, this is not a prompt engineering thing.
No, this is just you saying, hey, do this for me. And it's like, okay, here you go. But, that said, I think the creativity many times has diminished.
And we even saw that with the images of the pure chaos of my first diffusion. Like when I made it work, that skull is the best of all those images I showed. Yeah. It's better than the
O3 stuff. Yeah.
It's better than the ChatGPT images. Yeah. And the creativity, like the stylistic choicing of the Jim Fitzpatrick art.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not comparable to the other stuff.
If I could probably find a Laura that would be Jim Fitzpatrick. Yeah. But that was just throwing that at the raw diffuser engine of Diffusion 1, I guess.
Yeah. Stable. Yeah, that was the beta you had even, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was Diffusion 1.
Yeah. Well, it was before it came out fully. Like that was one.
That thing was a nightmare.
Like 1.5 was garbage. And that was 1.
Yeah, that thing was a nightmare to set up.
But it had so much more freedom. Like, I think if you look at, is it on my main channel, the stories I read while there's AI images in the background? I think that's on my main channel. It's some of my first videos. If you look at those, they're not exactly clearly AI-generated images. I mean, they are in the sense that the proportions are wrong and everything, but they look more like an impressionistic painting, like all of them. Like, and those are chosen from hundreds, if not thousands, of images, right? Those aren't just the first ones that popped up, but they were still they have a quality to them that isn't this hyper refined. Because what they're doing right now, right? The big thing in AI right now is get rid of hallucinations. Yeah, make it good at math, get rid of hallucinations. But I really think like calculators already exist. We don't need them to be good at math. Yeah, just teach them how to use a calculator. Yes, and then hallucination, it's like, yeah, but then they'll give misinformation. It's like, then don't use AI as Wikipedia. Yeah. Go to Wikipedia. The AI should be used for, like, game design, right?
Yeah, like this.
For data synthesis. Like, okay, hey.
Like, this, I've struggled with how to use AI. Yeah. And it's only recently, it was me playing the game of I could probably input the 100 men versus the 1 gorilla into my game because I had the 10,000 rats. Oh, yeah. Versus 1 bear. Me making that game engine made me realize, this is what AI is for.
The first ever test I did with Vicuna was I said, what do the story of Lot and his wife, the story of Eurydice and Orpheus, and the story of how Pythagoras would teach his students have in common. And it was able to do a data synthesis of all those 3 disparate mythologies and give an answer that was not the answer I was expecting, but was still a plausible answer which drew from the human myth. AIs should not be Albert Einstein. Or actually, Albert Einstein's a bad example. AIs should not be some autistic accountant in the super accountant from the modern age, right? AIs should be Joseph Campbell, Carl Jung,
a drug-addled Nikola Tesla.
Well, but or Einstein, or I'm thinking like Jung, right?
Yeah.
Look at the human mythos. Be a wizard. Be an alchemist, right?
Yeah.
That's where AI shines, and instead we are turning it into this thing to try to do. Like I see on Twitter, people will say, "Hey, Grok, explain this for me," and it's like, why don't you figure it out yourself? Like use your brain for half a second, right? Like, but we're going down the wrong path with AI. We already went down the wrong path with television. We went down the wrong path with video games. Yeah. We're going down. So I don't think AI is. Let me see. Worst case scenario, AI doesn't improve, right? We just keep going down this path.
What? Sorry, it's just this podcast starts with AI is improving way more than you think. However, it's going nowhere. Good night. Not even it's going nowhere. However, that doesn't matter because technology is degrading. It's all garbage. Nothing was added and nothing was lost. The world is worse.
When my coworker was showing me his Pokemon game, he was playing on the DS. He was playing Black and White. Yeah. And I was like, "Yeah, I don't like that Pokemon. I don't like that one. I don't like that one." He's like, "Yeah, Girder's my favorite. You know, the one with like the great big like metal beam." I was like, "That's probably my least favorite Pokemon besides Sock and Throw." And he's like, "I have a Sock and Throw." And he's like, "You just hate things, don't you?" I was like, "No, I like good things." Just there's nothing. He's like, you sound like a grumpy old man. I was like, I am.
You know which Pokemons I hate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did your video.
Yep.
Yeah, I did mine. Mine's done. Well, I don't think the final episode's released yet. No. But
on the ones I really hated, I commented on why I hated them.
Yeah. But I don't know why this happens. It's some sort of weird mix of greed and stupidity. But I'll see things like people defending gacha games and say, well, it's only whales that pay for it and they're fools for doing so. But it's like, yeah, but you could just have a good game that you paid $10 for, $20 for, $30.
It's the fault of the normies.
But I don't think, I think a normal person should just be like, I like good things and I'm going to have good things, right? They shouldn't be, I'm going to do whatever the corporate overlords tell me and I'm just, and I'm going to vehemently defend evil practices that actively harm myself.
Well, I mean, the video that I released that has the most vicious and hate-filled comment section of any video I've ever released and the most dislikes is why I will never buy Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, because...
And I was pointing out ill practice. That is all that video was.
You know what my most disliked video is? The one where I say that Sock and Throw suck.
Yeah. But I was actually pointing out bad practice.
And I'll do it again. They suck.
I'll do it again with less... Well, I did it again.
Yeah. With your vitiligo
video. But I did it humorously instead of angrily.
Do I... Okay, where do I think AI will go? Because like things like Grok and O3 massively impress me, right? Like when they come out, they are a... It's not a big generation as GPT 3 to 4 was, but it is still a generational leap. So that's impressive. And they can do stuff... The thing is, what's going on? The ease of use is increasing immensely.
Oh, yes.
But the output of the product isn't increasing that much.
Yeah.
And I think...
Well, actually, I want to say something on that. With this Infrago Collecto thing, you saw all those different whisks and stuff, and people are freaking out about, like, there's all this slop AI art game produced, and everyone's an artist now because they have access to it.
Yeah.
I feel like in a couple of years, that's going to go away, simply because no one will care to make that art anymore.
Yeah.
It's in the moment, it's a new fad to produce this AI art.
I'm seeing video games, not indie games, where they need to use AI art to... I've seen that too. Yeah. And that's fine. I don't mind that at all, right? Like, I've seen this RPG, it's made by one person, Spirolos Therodon, I think. I think he uses AI art for it. I'm not 100% sure. But he does amazing work with... Like, he's just... It's not like it looks amazing. It's just, look, this is a text-based RPG, but I need to represent the units on the battlefield. So I'm just going to generate this little picture, and there you go, right? But Steam right now, you get a lot of games on there where people just take a bunch of AI art, cram it into a gotcha game or a visual novel, and say, "Look, boom, there, buy my garbage." Like there's not any thought put into it, any work put into it, and
So
I hope it goes the way of the clothespins and the whisks.
you know my
But TVs haven't. TVs have had this lie for like 20 years.
my pattern recognition skill is very high in like physical things.
Oh, we're not going to go into some sort of racism discussion?
No. No. We're talking about images and AI.
Okay.
So we have a video that's coming out after we record this,
Yeah.
but it'll be out way before this video is released.
Yeah.
And in it, I had to do a ton of image searches for various different historical characters and events and things and images of things.
Yeah.
And one of the really funny things that happens is if you look up like Lancelot or King Arthur or any amount of art, any images, you'll see a selection of images. And once you've looked at images enough of various different artists, various different things, you can actually recognize the image and know where it originally comes from. It's like recognizing sound libraries.
Yeah.
And so I recognize certain images. You know the painting of the... I have both sets of them at my place, but it used to be on my room. And it's the knight...
Yeah.
It's a very famous image. It's the princess knighting the knight, and the other one is her saying goodbye to him as he rides off.
Yeah.
So that image in one of my searches came up as Lancelot and his lady. No. No, it is not. That is a very famous painting. Both of them are very famous paintings done in the 19 or 1800s. And it was just like the original title is Knight and Lady and like Maiden Says Farewell.
Yeah.
Like they are just paintings.
But there's a lot of references to that painting in different paintings. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also so many, like even mass-produced images, like there's this computer-generated images, like they're reused all over the place, and I recognize them. But it's gone to the point where it's not even I recognize the image as an AI image. I recognize it as a reused AI image. Someone's taken the AI image and reused it, so they didn't even produce it themselves. They're taking someone else's AI image because it was a very popular, well-done AI image. Or it's like of a certain style of AI, and it's like, dear God.
You know what's kind of interesting about that? You just made me make this connection. If you look at a painting, let's say it uses a lot of yellows and reds. Mm-hmm. It's oil painting, but it's so smeary it almost looks like watercolor.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, that's probably... And it's a picture of a boat, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's probably a Turner, right?
Yeah.
If you look at a painting, and it's of a beautiful woman doing some idyllic thing or some magical thing, you're like, that's a Waterstone.
Yeah.
Right, like if you can tell who painted a painting without ever having seen the painting before, just based on the style, right?
Yeah, like that shaman calendar.
Oh. Well, I wouldn't know who this person is, but if it's got like multiple images
Susan
in one,
Sedenbolt.
Yeah, Boulay, I think.
Boulay,
But yeah, if you look at her pictures, they have multiple creatures in the same image that make up a different thing, basically.
Yeah.
But you can recognize...
And the one guy you talked about is the guy who like painted his wife, right?
Yeah. But it's not... His wife is his model, but but it's always a different thing, right? Like
yeah, it's just all the women he paints have a very frumpy look.
They all look the same. I think they look beautiful.
No, they are beautiful. I meant not...
He had a very attractive wife.
Or is
he still... No, he's not still alive.
If he was still alive, he'd be like 300 years old or something, or 400 years old. I think he's from the 1600s.
I don't think he's that old. Like, he was one of the... American like frontiersmen, right? Like he was.
America is 400 years old.
Yeah, but they didn't go west until like the 1800s. So he's probably from like the 1800s. So his children might have children that are alive.
Do you know large amounts of America? The first people to ever live in them were settlers.
Maybe like there was this whole die off that happened kind of around the time the
more crazy one is the
Dutch arrived.
The Horn of Africa, like South Africa.
Yeah.
The Boers were there first, before anyone else.
And then the
Zulu.
Zulu?
Yeah. Like in those areas, Zulu and Swahili all came to that area.
There's like 4 or 5 people. Yeah,
but no one lived there because it sucked. The Boers were described as insane.
I've heard Israel was kind of like that too, where it was sort of a desert.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, but the Boers were actually insane. They came to a land, which was like this blasted sun-baked desert. And they're like, let's farm here.
And I'm sure that like those things, they're always complicated, right? Like there's always, well, yeah, but there was the one.
But then it could be 1,000 years earlier when the climate was better than this tribe used to live here, and that's the same thing with Israel. Like Israel, you look at that area right now from Google Earth.
It's horrible.
It's horrible looking. You read it in the Bible, is the land of milk and honey.
Yeah, when
there was like, I was reading. Someone gave a description of what it looked like from what they gathered from the Bible and historically and what the climate would be like.
Yeah,
it's a weird place. So
it was still arid, I think.
It's arid, but it was full of grasslands. It was full of grasslands, and they had cedar wood.
Yeah,
cedar grew in specific areas, but they did have cedar wood, and so they had coniferous trees next to palm trees.
Yeah,
so it was a bit like New Zealand.
Yeah.
And they had their leafy trees as well, the deciduous trees.
Yeah.
And they had like these areas, they had these big flatlands which were basically covered in grass and then these little tufty shrubs. And then you would see lions and deer and horses all running wild together, and bears and wolves. And it's like all the different animals. And then also, like if you put food in the ground, it would grow. If you had herdable animal, you could just keep them in an area of land and it would never become desolate. The grass would keep growing and they could just keep eating it.
I was reading The Dark Lantern, which is about Levi, right? It's from the Bible. So it's a book about him. And it's like a fantasy series based on him. And he walks from... he needs to go to Jerusalem. So he walks like this 2-week maybe journey to Jerusalem. So he just walks out his house and like walks to Jerusalem, and whenever he's hungry, he just like goes to a fig tree and grabs a handful of and he's like, oh, there's a root thing, just eat that, and then oh, there's a farmer, he's got some free cheese, I'll just take like he doesn't bring any supplies, he just walks.
Like a big thing that happened in the Bible over and over again, in the early Bible, is guys would go around building wells. And then the land would be named after... They'd name the well, and then the land would be named after the well.
Oh, and then oh, there's some water. There we go.
Yeah, so there's like land... There's wells absolutely everywhere.
It's just like this endless garden.
Yeah, but it is quite literally... Like, you'd go to a place... You and like 10 of your buddies would go to a place. And you go, all right, we're thirsty.
Yeah.
And let's camp here for like a week. And in that week, you could build a fully running well. And you're like, no, what? We've stayed here for a bit. Let's build an altar to God. And so you go to the nearby hills, and you'd literally be able to like grab chunks of stone of the right shape and build an altar to God. It's like, well, that was a nice spot to stay. And then you keep traveling with your 10 buddies.
I've been reading I finished it now, but I read the Dying Earth, Tales of the Dying Earth, like Jack Vance, where the Vancian magic comes from.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this, and I feel kind of stupid not realizing it, but Tales of the Dying Earth is made up of tales, as in multiple stories.
Yeah.
It's not a story about a guy, it's a bunch of stories. And it's of the dying Earth. So it takes place on Earth, like our Earth. Like billions of years in the future.
Yes.
When the sun is dying. Like the sun is dark. There's no stars left in the sky. And occasionally a dark flicker will go across the sun, or it won't rise. Like it'll be morning and the sun won't rise, and then it'll come up like 4 minutes late and it'll like stagger through the sky. Because like everything's dying. The mountains are smooth. There's a guy, he built a shrine. And it said it took him like 100 years because there was no metal. All the metal had been mined. So he had to scrap together metal from... Like, the Earth is done. Like, it's actually the dying Earth.
Yeah, and there's grus.
And there's grus, and there's peregrines, and all sorts of...
The grus are like giant bat monsters that live...
They're never described, except they're a crossbreed of a bunch of different animals. But that was unsure. There was a wizard who specialized in the strange creatures.
Yeah.
And he knew most of them, but he didn't know the grus.
Okay.
But he thinks they're a crossbreed of like a man and a giant bat. And
but they live in the dark.
Or they're always like hiding behind trees and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, they're very creepy.
But the creepiest things I think are the Dunendens, I think they're called. So these men, but these incredibly handsome men with sculpted bodies, like, they look like a Greek statue basically. Yeah. But their skin is pitch black and looks rotten, like they're a corpse. Yeah. Even though they have these really handsome features. And they talk like men, but they're cannibals. They'll go and they're very strong. They'll go and they'll devour and they'll eat people that wander off the roads, right? But they talk like men. So like there'll be a guy at his home and there'll be a knock at the door and he'll be like, who's there? And it's like, I would do it, them. Let me in. It's like, what? No, I'm not going to let you in, but I'm hungry. I want to eat you. They're just creepy. They're like these weird, like, and everything talks like the flying bird creatures. They'll talk and they'll be like, oh, this looks good. I'll have one of you. But the duodem, I think, are the most creepy because, like, the birds, they know that you don't want to be eaten, right?
Yeah.
But the dude and them are like, but I'm hungry, let me eat you. Like, that's how they act, right? And so they're almost like petulant in there, like, just let me in, come on, what's going on? And, but yeah, just that idea of the earth slowly, and it's like the opposite, right? Israel, you can just grab a stone and build a shrine. In the dying earth, you have to go take down something that's already there, because all the shrines have been built. So you have to tear apart a shrine.
So that's one of the theories of if we have a civilizational collapse, we won't be able to recover because all the easy copper is being mined.
Yeah.
I read a guy who countered that, which is there is more copper than you could ever imagine in the world.
This is billions of years in the dying earth series.
Yeah,
So.
but it's talking about like right now if we had a class like we'd never be able to rebuild. It's like there is the easiest accessible copper ever in the world right now, and it's everywhere. You can't go without seeing it.
Actually, what's interesting, I was interviewing an elder of the Upper Tanana recently. And the Tanana, they were the White River people.
Yeah.
So that was where I think the easiest access to copper on Earth was.
Yeah.
Like, there was people, there was boulders of copper, and they would saw, like, they'd treat copper like stone. They'd saw and cut it. But apparently the people that lived right on the White River, that had all that copper, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have any copper tools. Because they were like, copper's soft, and we've got tons of it. Let's just trade it for good stuff like iron and obsidian. Like, it's like, oh yeah, no, this is great. This stuff's great. You want this? Give me your obsidian and iron. There you go. And so they had like really high quality tools.
We also have tons of high quality steel, which can be reforged into what is it called? It's something steel. It's
but
like
we'd probably
steel.
be taking apart a lot of stuff, right?
No, we would have to. But I'm saying like
because in the medieval ages they built a lot of marble buildings, but they made it from the ruins of the Roman stuff.
Do you know Hagia Sophia? When you look at it, it's like there's something strange about the marble it's made out of. It's like it feels like it comes from different things.
Yeah.
And the cistern we went to is this epic cistern, which has these marble columns in it. It's this massive cistern. They have different carvings on these columns, and some of them are different shapes.
Yeah.
So basically, the Romans went up and down the coastline
and took
down all the Greek temples made of marble, and that's how they built Hagia Sophia so fast, and that's how they built all their buildings so fast, was taking the marble.
Didn't the Romans have a policy about like leaving temples alone or something?
They did, but the Eastern Empire,
the Byzantines
didn't, because they needed it done, and they needed it done now.
And they were like, none of those niceties were. The Byzantines were all business. They were.
Also, the cisterns were really important for Constantinople because there's no water.
Don't they live on the ocean? I guess you can't drink ocean
Yeah,
water.
there is no water.
Right.
So they had massive cisterns and some of the most insane aqueducts you've ever seen going to those cisterns. Yeah.
So, will it... I mean, the Roman Empire collapsed.
Yeah.
Will ChatGPT go the same way?
Well, no, so...
But it's also the censorship, I think, is killing it.
Yes.
And, like, do we need... But then the question is...
So, this is... I was talking about... I was making a video on the Skyrim, like, what the one guy says isn't like Skyrim.
Enderall?
No.
Tainted Grail.
Tainted Grail.
No, he said... No, he thought Tainted Grail was like Skyrim.
Yeah. Tainted Grail is actually leaning into a bit tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
They have a DLC you can buy, which is horse armor. And so their lockpicking is like identical to Skyrim's.
Right.
And so
he pointed that out.
It's really good because Skyrim has great lockpicking. But Tainted Grail has in the character creation, it's you can make your character male or female.
Right. Versus what?
Body type A, body type
or
body type 1, body type 2.
Right.
And
see, I'm like, I haven't played any games that do that, I think. So it was like this little gap that I've missed. So I'm like, what else would you do?
What I was saying in there, and now I'm going to have to say it again, is I hope Tainted Grail leans more into bringing back the Unga Bunga, is what I put it as. They lean more into making the things attractive.
Yeah.
And I was playing the demo, I was like seeing the armor, I was like, no, there's some attractive outfits here. And then I went to their Steam page and looked at their demo pictures and like gear you can get later in the game, various other things. I was like, oh, no, they are actually leading into that. Like, the male character... Because one thing I say is, one of the reasons I really like the first Larian's divinity is the dimorphism between the male and female characters. Like, the men, our shoulders are as broad as they are tall.
Right.
And
Divinity Original Sin 2, the elves. Ugh.
I'm not talking about their different races. I'm talking about like in number one, like the difference between man and woman is very stark.
But I've played as an elf both games, I think, and they look hideous.
There's no elf in number one.
Oh,
it's just humans.
Just in number 2 I was an elf then?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like how they look.
Yeah.
But why did I play as an elf? They have good stats or something?
Yeah, they can eat people to get the memories.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like, I hope that they do the scene that it looks like they might. And
it actually, I don't know. This is going to be, I don't know how to properly phrase this, right? Archcast. Who's his artist? Is it him?
No, it's white.
Okay. He's got a white artist? Isn't he white?
No, his artist is white.
Yeah. Well,
his name is white.
I know he's a racist, but
no, his name is white.
Right. And V's doing a similar thing, not with his art, but he's making like some sort of erotic video game, I believe. Romanian TV, or whatever his name is. And Archcast, all his thumbnails have like these women in bikinis.
Yeah.
And like no matter what the game is, even if it's Doom or something, right? I'm not saying it's bad to have and it can't be fun to have, right? But I don't want that. I don't want these. I also don't want like whatever that game that the Australian government paid for.
No.
I just want a game that's like the Justice League Unlimited world, where there's beautiful people.
That's why I was talking about. I'm not talking about going too far. It's saying like Tainted Grail, as in the character creation, the women do look a little masculine.
Yeah.
But I was saying it's basically like make them a bit more feminine. Like don't go too far with it.
Yeah.
But make it so the men are men and the women are women, like the Justice League sort of thing. I'll use that actually. I'll talk about that. I'll maybe grab some images from. But like if you Skyrim.
Yeah.
Like there are some differences there. Unmodded Skyrim, there's some difference there. Dragon Age Origin.
Yeah.
There is differences. Like you can put the same set of armor on two different characters. And if the man's wearing the armor, he looks like a mountain made of steel.
Oh. I think you just made me realize something.
What?
This isn't about PC or being woke or SJWs or anything, is it? It's about saving money. Because if you use the same body...
Yes, it is. It is. I pointed that out in my Vitiligo video. It's about saving money, making them look the same.
Because if breasts are just a little bump and shoulders are just... Then you can just have a slide... You don't have to actually make a new armor set. You can just...
It's about saving
warp
money.
the body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's two things with that. It's about saving money, but it means you don't care about your game.
But I'm sure, like, NVIDIA keeps releasing these amazing tech videos, right? Of, like, their new physics engines, their new animation. They have an animation engine now. I don't know if you saw that recently. You just give it a video, and it makes, like, an animation, and then you can add in text. You can be like, make it do this afterwards. And then it'll just, like...
Unfortunately, a lot of video game companies hire people who were educated in video game school. Video game school suffers from what all schools do, which is they're about 10 to 15 years behind in their advancement. All of them are trained to use old Unreal Engine to make their games, so they're going to look for workarounds, and they're going to be basing all their experience on, I was trained to use this thing, rather than being one of those passionate nut jobs who builds his own engine to make the game because he has a vision.
And use, like, the latest NVIDIA.
Yeah.
NVIDIA must have the best computer scientists on Earth. Like, the stuff they do is amazing.
Yeah.
But... surely there's someone...
Video games are being made by people who are doing it as a job, not as people who are passionate.
Surely there's been someone. You can do they both use the same warped model, right? Mm-hmm. So male and female use the same standard, but it can account for all the differences. Like, surely there's something that can
Larian managed that a little bit with Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
They did disappoint me, though. I still...
Actually, you know what I love?
I'm scared to make this video because it might make a lot of people really upset. I want to take the art book that Larian produced, which had all their concept art, and go, why didn't you do this? And people go, oh, well, it's concept art, and they have more stuff like, I do not care. This is gorgeous. Look at this. It is so good looking. Look how good Shadowheart looks at the concept art. Look how pretty Lizelle is. This is the final product. It's like, yeah, well, that's unrealistic. I don't care. These are heroes in a fantasy world. Let them be paragons.
And actually, I think Daggerfall is another great... I don't know if you've ever played Daggerfall.
No.
Okay, but it also, like... You know, I was saying, I don't want games
Does Daggerfall take place in the Ashland of the Dark Elves?
No, that's Morrowind.
Okay, I've played... The oldest one I've played is Morrowind.
Okay, Daggerfall takes place in Daggerfall.
Okay.
It's the biggest Elder Scrolls game there is. But that game, I think, is kind of the perfect example of what I want a modern game to be. In basically every way. But the... character models, like you said, they're beautiful, but they're not like ridiculous and over the top. Except you can get clothes that do that, and there's like a guild of prostitutes. Like, so it's kind of like GTA 4 or more, or 5 a little bit. Like, the option is there, but it's not the game, right?
There's one really cool thing that happens in Tainted Grail, and I really hope they do lean into this, because one of the big things with Skyrim's is, like, once you get the best armor, you should wear it because it's the best armor.
Yeah.
So, in Tainted Grail, the game starts, you're in a prison, and you're captured by the Red Priest. And so some guy helps you break out. And you have no gear on you. And there's a dead Red Priest guard. So you loot his body, and you put on his gear, and you go throughout, and you can find some more Red Priest gear. It's the best gear you can find. You then open up a door into a new room, and there's this giant Scottish pict there.
Yeah.
Like, giant Scotsman standing there.
Yeah.
And he's killed, like you see in the room, there's Red Priests everywhere who've been slaughtered. And he's killed them with his bare fist. And he turns to you and is like, "Oh, another Red Priest. What do you want here?" It's like, "What? No, I'm not a Red Priest." And he stares you down. It's like, "I can see by the size of the torch of your body that even if you are one of them, you are no longer with them. I shall hold my temper for now."
Right. So just your clothing affecting the...
Yeah, and I really like that thought of, oh, I'm wearing the Red Priest armor. And so this guy thinks you're one of the Red Priests. And so I hope they actually play with that a little bit.
The Kingdom Come games do that.
Kingdom Come, yeah, they do that.
And Ultima and Daggerfall don't do that, but Daggerfall, this is crazy to think about. I'm pretty sure Daggerfall has the most clothing options of any Elder Scrolls game, even Skyrim.
Unmodded Skyrim.
Yeah, well... yeah, well, once you start modding Skyrim, it's the most.
Skyrim contains all of Terra's armor and clothing. And if you know anything about Terra, the game is basically dress-up dolls. Like, you're just trying to find stuff to dress up your characters in.
Or another game... This is going to be a weird example for my I don't want things to go too far, right?
Yeah.
Diablo 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the story about that game's creation, but the developers were given a sin quota, basically. So they were told, like the artist, it was like, and the game designer, it's like, you need to have, 10 murders, 3 rapes, and 20 scantily clad women per day, or whatever it was, right? Like, because it was meant to be the most edgy looking game ever. But they actually didn't go nearly as far as a lot of modern games. I don't know if you ever saw that game Succubus, where you
I know about
you heal by ripping the unborn fetus out of like that is that's too far for me.
Yeah,
that's too much. Diablo is my happy golden maid, and maybe some kid when he's like, I was about 14 or 15 when I first played Diablo. Maybe there'll be some 15-year-old kid that grows up with Succubus, and that's his happy thing. But his parents should probably be locked away. But because there's not nudity in Diablo 2, really.
There's a bit,
but it's not like I don't think it's really gratuitous exactly.
One part is pretty gruesome.
Yeah, but like Age of Wonders 1, right? There's full-blown naked women in the game, right?
Yeah.
But
I think that's like a bodysuit.
The nymphs?
Oh, no. So I was talking about the Temptress with the whip. I think she's wearing like a bright yellow bodysuit.
Oh, yeah. No, I think she has yellow skin.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure she has yellow skin. But no, I'm thinking of the nymph. Or the Green Guardian lady, whatever she's called.
The tree?
Yeah.
She has vines.
Yeah. But I mean, part of it is that they're these tiny little pixel people. But that's that's kind of... I don't want it to be more explicit than that in a lot of ways. But I also want it to be like that, right?
Yeah, that is the perfect mean. It is there are things like that in the world. Yeah. But the whole game isn't about that. Yeah. It is a fact that is there.
Like Age of Wonders 1, I think, is a game a 9-year-old can play without any offensiveness with the... I mean, the cutscenes with Julia's armor's a little ridiculous.
Yes.
But the actual game itself is fine. And the thing about... Because I played Age of Wonders when I was maybe 12. You don't really... well, at least I didn't. I don't really pay attention to the armor or anything. I was just like, oh yeah, it's fantasy armor, whatever.
The main thing I paid attention to was the Possessor. Yeah. Or what are these called?
I forget what it's
Incarnate.
Called. Yeah, the Incarnate.
The Incarnate taking things over, and the KR going, run, 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 thwack, thwack, thwack. Because it is one of the most satisfying animations in any video game. It is literally a 2-frame animation of this giant weird blob monster with a ridiculously big sword, and the sword just goes down. But the sword is so big, you just feel the force of it.
I'm going to do a couple playthroughs of some sort. I don't know if I'll do the campaign or just a scenario or something, but of Age of Wonders 1 on my channel. And would you forgive me if I didn't play as the goblins for my... I think I want to be the lizard men.
No, you can be the lizard man. What I will say is increase your main hero, like before you do anything else, if you don't want to lose, increase your main hero's defense skill to 10. That is where all your levels should go.
Yeah, so he doesn't just die.
In the beginning.
I think the heroes number 1 can get very overpowered as well.
No. The evil campaign is ridiculously easy, because what you do is at some point in the game, I think it's in the second campaign, you'll be given orc assassins. Once you get them, you've won the game. Orc assassins can climb walls. They're very fast. They have range attacks. Their daggers are poisonous. You just use them to kill AI main heroes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you just take them up before they can act.
Yeah, you just snipe the main heroes and you win the game.
Is the campaign any good?
It's good. The AI is stronger than you.
Right.
You can't beat it fairly. You actually just can't. You have to kill heroes.
Because I'm considering doing the campaign.
Yeah.
But
well, the evil campaign. I don't know about the good campaign, but the evil campaign, at certain points, you probably could win fairly, but the maps get so massive that it would take forever and be such a faff that it's just, from my experience, I'm better at the combat in those games than the world management, but it gets to be such a faff to run about that you just want to go and hero snipe.
I wonder, for some reason I'm connecting the idea of gameplay loops and game design, like from a school of game design, right?
Yeah.
I'm connecting that idea where you say... Because, Age of Wonders 1, it does a lot of things wrong, right? Like, I think the biggest example is the dungeons.
Yeah.
They have a fog of war inside a battle.
Yeah.
And it takes forever to pick up the items and walk around the dungeon, right? You would never see that in a modern game.
Yeah.
And you don't see it in any of the other Age of Wonders games. But I think it's those little wrinkles that actually make it... Because the game feels like anything's possible. Like, wait, you can have fog of war and pick up items and gold inside a battle map?
Yeah.
So you can do anything. You could have a fire in a battle map, maybe. Or you could... Like, you don't know what the limits are. The Incarnate's this horribly glitchy mess that's overpowered, but it's like, wait, you can just possess anything and then you can just blow up any structure on the map, but don't you need that bridge to complete the map? It's like, but you can blow it up.
Yeah.
And you've got these towers, you can start forest fires that go... Like, you can do anything, right?
Yeah.
And that feeling, it's kind of like how we say we download the Skyrim mod that you'll never see because it makes me feel better to sleep at night, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason...
I'm happy knowing it's there.
Yeah. But for some reason, and that's why that was the conclusion of that video I was telling you about, why there's no other Elder Scrolls likes. The games aren't good except if you want that experience of the endless world that is living, right? And no other game does that because you'd be insane to try.
Yeah.
But Bethesda does it, and people love it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I will have a pushback against that. I haven't watched the video, but Skyrim combat is good.
No, I agree.
And I think people enjoy that.
That's because Skyrim combat is basically Baldur's Gate combat.
Yeah.
Like you have a bunch of tools that you can use, or it's like rogue combat, like an actual roguelike, like a real roguelike, like Rogue.
Yeah.
Where you have a bunch of different potions, a bunch of different scrolls, a bunch of different spells. There's not a bunch of skill and quick timing, but the amount of options available to you is huge. And
it's based on what you do in the combat and the events that transpire, how the enemies move about.
And you maneuvering on the battlefield. Like, it's very strategic. It's very tactical.
Yeah, in Twisted Grail, this was a critique I have of the game, which there's a section where you can crouch, so you're sneaking, and you crawl through this tunnel. Then you come across 2 red priests, and I happen to have the mage beginning, so I have unlimited ammo, my mana just has to recharge. And so I started lobbing little firebolts at them, and the enemies couldn't crouch down and get me, so I could kill them without them being able to fight me. And I said, what they should do, and I would hate this because it'd be terrifying claustrophobic, is if you're in this crawling situation, the red priest should dip down and crouch and chase into the tunnels after you, and then it's going to be like fighting, the trench fights where the diggers would dig into each other. Trench is like some of the nastiest fighting in the world.
Yeah.
You basically have to play that, and it would be horrifying because fighting in close quarters is awful.
Yeah, no, that would be it. Yeah, Quark does that with the Enderman, right? They teleport you to them if you try to choose them?
No, that was a different mod.
That was a different one?
Yeah.
I thought that was Quark that did that. Okay. But, yeah, so anyways, that idea of, like, the game design where, games like Dungeon Lords and Age of Wonders 1, they don't follow schools of game design. They're these horribly broken, messy games that are way better than any modern game.
Yes.
Right? And I think, for some reason, that ties to me with this idea of the new TVs and the new phones and the new AIs even. And I'm not sure what... I think it's because... Well, what's going on with AI, I think? A bunch of... benchmarks were made, like the MMLU and the Google Proof Diamond exam and all that sort, right? And once they started trying to beat the exams, that's what it is. Because in school, you're given a test to see if you know something, but you're not actually... The test isn't... Like, if you go to school for game design, right? The final exam is not make a best-selling video game. Or make a game that critics would rate a 10 out of 10. The final exam is, what are the 3 main... Like, what's a gameplay loop and what's a... Right? And so it's the same idea where...
Don't you hate the term of gameplay loop?
Yes, I hate it, yes. But it's used by a lot of game developers. But I think this is the link here, is that we've... What's the term? Quantify... If you quantify something...
Yeah. Then
you start only seeing its value as a measure of that quantification. So what happens, right? You have a person, I think they're smart, but I don't know if they're smart. So I'm going to give them a test. And you're like, you look at the test and you're like, oh, they're smart. Great, that's great. But then what happens is the test becomes the only metric of intelligence.
Yeah.
And then if they can't pass the test, then they must not be smart. And you ignore everything else. And I think that's happened with AI, and I think that's happened with TVs. Well, it has more pixels than a CRT TV, so it's a better TV.
Let's talk about the TVs. Let's talk about the...
And the economy as well. The economy, look at the numbers. There's more money than ever. The economy's doing great. It's all these top-down HR looking at spreadsheet bean counters.
Yeah, so with a TV...
And I called it autistic accounters. I apologize. Bean counters. Yeah. So I don't want to blame autism for... No.
TV makers originally, so we have the black and white TV makers. Those guys are insane.
Yeah.
Like, they came up with something amazing. And their goal was to make it so you could actually see what was going on. Because the original black and white TVs were garbage. So their goal was to make a TV where you could see what was going on. They want to make the best TV they could make.
And people look at it and they go, yeah, I can see what's going on. Good job.
And then the color TV guys...
We want color.
They wanted to add color.
So you look at it and you say, there's color? Yep, good job. But now they're like, we've got more pixels.
No, the CRTV guys, like this, that was the advancement from color TV. There's actually a different jump between that.
Yeah,
was they wanted to make TVs. They wanted to make the best TV they could.
Yeah,
and so they had to make it bigger, and they had to like that thing inside the CRT.
Yeah, the cathode rays tubes.
Yeah, the cathode ray tubes, and the giant laser of doom that's inside them.
Yeah,
like all that technology. They were
the rays.
You know about the dust lasers you can get off CRTVs.
Well, it's a cathode ray tube, so I assume that's the ray.
No, there's this giant panel of glass inside those TVs.
Yeah.
Which, if you remove and put in a frame, you know the thing of like focusing with a magnifying glass?
Yeah.
It's that, but you can focus the sun rays to melt rock.
Oh, wow.
And it exists inside them.
Jeez.
So, this TV was made by people trying to make the absolute best TV they could. And then the people who made video games for it and even movies, they saw, all right, so this CRT technology bleeds pixel light.
Yeah.
And so we have to make art that looks good on this. So we will make the best art we can using this medium. The more I go through time, the more brilliant my new media teacher becomes.
Yeah.
We had a project where it's basically make an image. And he told us flat out, when you make this image, you're not going to present it to the class on your computer. You're going to be presenting it to the class on the projector. The projector looks different than your computer screen. Each person has a different preference and setting on their own computer. The light tones they've set to different colors. So while you're working on it, what I want you to do is, you have your usual work computer, is take your file and put it onto the computer next to you. Then take it and put it on your personal computer. Then take it into one of the other computer libraries. And then put it onto the projector before you present it in class and see if it looks right. And if it looks wrong, fix it so it works on the projector. However, we might not be using this projector. I might switch the projector out. So what I want you to do is make the image look as good as possible on any medium.
There's a horror video game that's famously too dark to see anything, basically.
Yeah.
And apparently, or it's not really a horror game, but it's like, it's not horror as in scary, it's more horror as in this world's miserable and everything's dying. But it was made in like the 80s or 90s. But it turns out the developer's computer screen was like freakishly bright.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh yeah, it's a little dark, but it's fine.
Is that what the editors of City of Darkness had?
Maybe. But whenever anyone else uses it, they're like, I can't see anything. What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but like
that's why a lot of game studios now, they have multiple computers. And
but it's like, he was brilliant, actually.
Actually, Blargus is his name. He's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
He's one of those people that I look at and I'm like, this guy is a game developer that is still carrying the torch of game development, right? Because he made a game and he's like, okay, it's good, but it's really laggy. So then he optimized it like crazy. He's like, okay, now this game's amazing. And he's like, wait, my wife has a computer that's like 15 years old, and all she does is play the really simple games on it, or she'll watch movies on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it so my game can run on her computer, not my supercomputer. Like, my game can run on 60 FPS on my computer, but I want it to run on 60 FPS on her computer, because my game's meant to be a retro game.
Yeah.
And it should be able to run on the hardware of the games it's based on, right?
Yeah.
Like, if my game runs worse, he's based it on Hexen, I believe. So he's like, if my game takes up more power than Hexen, I've failed, right? So it's like, that's what the kind of ambition I want to see.
Yes.
And also, modern games, they have shaders that have to be loaded in.
Yep.
And there's functions to call shaders to load them in ahead of time. Like, Skyrim comes with... Actually, Skyrim doesn't, I don't think. No. But Breath of the Wild comes with all its shaders preloaded and whatnot. It takes up a huge portion of the game file. His game, he needed to dynamically load the shaders because it's a randomly generated game. Yeah. But he didn't know how to do it. So what he did is because his game's so well optimized, he puts up a loading screen, and then he has the character run through the entire map behind the loading screen. So it just loads in all the shaders in like half a second. But he left the sound effects on. So you hear like... So he has like a task speedrun his game, and then that loads in all the shaders.
Yeah, but TV makers were trying to make the best thing they could. Yeah. But now it's make a bigger computer. Make it bigger TV.
Yeah. More pixels. Bigger. More pixels. Bigger. More. Yeah. And then I hate this so much, right? 1080 display.
Yeah.
That's basically perfect quality, right? And then they're like, oh yeah, but let's make the screen twice as big. Oh, now it looks blurry. All right, we'll have to double the pixel count. All right, let's make a display twice as big. And then, okay, now we've got this. So this is the thing. You have a 4K display that's like 5 feet long.
Yeah.
And your games run like garbage because your computer can't handle the processing. It's like, oh yeah, I've got like 10 times the processing power for half the price, but the game takes up 10 times the space because it needs textures to fill this giant screen, and it costs like 500 watts of power per...
Yeah, no, that was one thing I was saying about the Tainted Grail, is I hope they work to optimize it further than what this demo has, because when the graphics are on high, the game looks good. And it's not... But when they're on low, the game looks good as well. And it's not that, this game has really good graphics. It's they chose an art style and like a setup to the game. It just like it's gothic, and I love gothic, and it looks good. Like on the low graphics, where it's starting to get more towards like Skyrim graphics level of like quality.
Yeah,
it looks good. On its high graphics, it looks good. And so the thing with that is, instead of trying to get your game so you can count the individual pores on the person's nose, choose a style that looks good.
And will always look good.
And
look at Wind Waker versus Skyward Sword.
But also on top of that, if the sky view you've chosen requires you to have better graphics, then you can choose to add better graphics then. But your style might be triangle boobs Lara Croft.
Yeah.
And then you only need that level of art, and then your game can be way smaller and way lighter.
Well, remember when we saw the trailer for Valheim? Like, this was the first trailer Valheim released during the Indie 100 show, or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Like, it was Zero Punctuation, or was it... It was related to Zero Punctuation. Anyways, they did this big gaming show, and Valheim had the trailer. And they have, like, these really chunky blocks, and then they zoom out, and they show this ice giant that's, like, 50 times taller than the characters. And when we were watching that, I said, this is the way I want games to go. Where you take advantage, you scale everything down, so you can take advantage of it and zoom out 100 times the distance and have a giant creature, then the game will still run.
Yeah.
And the game sold amazingly well, as far as I'm aware. So I think that's like the sort of... I want to see more developers do that, where they're like, I'm not afraid to have a style that looks decent, but also runs well, and then you can... And then that frees you up to do crazy things. Like, you should have a better simulation.
One of the things that Black Myth Wukong did, even though the game, like, my computer did have trouble running it a bit, but they still committed to it, which is epic, is there are certain times where you're fighting normal enemies, and then you'll fight a big enemy. It's a big enemy, like a Dark Souls enemy, big. Yeah. Like one of the bosses. Like, oh, that's scary, that's scary. You'll be walking along the map, and you'll see a giant. And you're like, oh, I wonder what that is, that background? Then you can walk up to the giant, and it looks down at you, and then it attacks you. And you're like, what? No, this is too big. I shouldn't be fighting something this big. And so you fight that thing, and then the very last part of the game with all their bosses there, there's this grasshopper that's huge, but if you do the hidden boss thing in the game, you encounter absolutely enormous enemies. And it's like, this scale is too much. It doesn't feel like I should be able to fight these enemies.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then your character uses abilities basically to match their size. But then that fight is really cool. Because there's like these 4 giant gods of destruction. And Sun Wukong basically encounters them, or you're not exactly Wukong, but you encounter them. And so you use your powers to turn yourself into this giant stone monkey to fight them. And it's not just like, oh, we're big now and we're fighting.
Yeah.
It's, you are giants. There is consequences to being this big in your movement. There's mountains you're fighting on, and you're like knocking people through the mountains and stepping over them. And like, there's so much weight to it, and the game screams in pain while you do that. I had to lower down my graphics to the lowest settings.
Have you seen...
And why it screams is they didn't just go, this is like the wrong approach plus the right approach. They didn't just go, alright, we're going to make a little map below. No. The game is still the game. They just zoom out your perspective and make you huge and your enemies huge. And doing that... it's a choice.
Yeah, and it's cool.
And it's a really cool choice.
Do you remember, it was for the DS, I think, that Mario game where you could get big?
Yeah.
And then you could just smash the map?
Yes.
That was, like, big deal back then.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen the latest Donkey Kong game, the trailer for it.
I didn't know there was one.
Yeah. So imagine Breath of the Wild, but Donkey Kong, but fully destructible terrain.
The minecart level is going to be a nightmare.
So there's, like, a mountain, right?
Yeah.
No, it's open world.
Yeah, the minecart level is going to be a
well,
nightmare.
there'll be mine carts, but it's open world, so there's not going to be a minecart level. But, so, like, there's a mountain in your way, punch through it, because it's fully destructible terrain.
Yeah.
Like, you don't like that guy over there? Pick up that boulder and crush him with it. Like it's, this is for the Switch 2, not the Switch.
Yeah.
But for all Nintendo's faults, and their evil lawyers, and their hyper fixated on copyright to a degree that harms themselves, they still make games.
Yes.
And they make games that you look at and you go, you're doing something.
Yes.
And that excites me. And, like, the price of their games is ridiculous. Like, the Switch 2 games are all going to be, like, probably $100 in Canadian. Like, it's going to be ridiculous. But the games themselves, you look at them and you're like, you're actually showing that on limited hardware, you can still do things.
Yeah, like their new Mario Kart.
Yeah.
They could just
open world of Mario Kart.
They could have just done, we will have I think the cool thing with it, like, an open world, it's like, I could take or leave it, I don't care. But we're going to have a grand tour race.
Yeah, that you go from map to map.
And so you have to go from race to race. And I feel like, I don't know if this is a feature or not, but they could actually do it like a proper grand tour race. Which is, how those work is you have to drive to a race course. And you have to do your laps. But depending on where you get there, you get penalties if you
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. And have you seen, they have this rewind feature in it? So you can just, like, let's say you try to take a jump and you miss, you can reverse time. And then it keeps track of your entire race. So you can just reverse time back to where you were. And then try again. But you can do that while other people are still racing.
I'm just thinking of Link's just there in the background with his weird hand going... just singing back in time.
It's kind of like that. But I think it only works on single player, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
it's so you can master your speedrun.
Yeah. But I think it would be cool if it was also for multiplayer. Because it could just be a better version of... Lakuta. Yeah. It's just like, just reverse time.
I now want to see Link... like, dive kick Lakuta off his cloud and time reverse you to get back on the map.
So yeah, you think AI technology will go the way of the egg whisk? I think it'll go the way of the TV, possibly. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope it goes the way of the egg whisk, so they choose the best form, and that it will actually...
Yeah. And
I also think that it will advance or grow way faster than people think it does. Like, people are like, 20 years. It's not 20 years. It will reach its peak way faster than people think it does.
Actually, you started by talking about electric cars, right?
Yeah.
And electric cars were invented like a century ago.
Yeah.
And then people went the wrong way, or a different way. Like I was talking about with TVs, like I'm worried about with AI. But eventually things did come back around. And it seems like over time, eventually people abandon the weird fad, and they do take the good option. It's hard to distinguish what is good and what is bad in the moment and in the place.
The G-Wiz, it was a cool concept, but those are awful cars. Those are so bad.
But over time, you do eventually get, hopefully, back. Like,
well, the thing that the G-Wiz did, it was a bad car. A lot of them sold. It was just a bad car. But what it did is people realized that electric cars were something they could try to make. That is the big thing the G-Wiz did, because it sold like 4,000 versions of it.
Yeah, so they're like, this thing's garbage, but people still bought it? All right, let's make a good one. And,
yeah.
And I think, like, there might come a day when the Game Boy Advance SP, people realized this was the superior technology.
Well, do you know what I always thought about the Game Boy Advance? Is this a little laptop?
Yeah.
Like, look, it's like
it's a little laptop.
They look like a little laptop.
There's actually, it was the other one I considered buying. It's about maybe 2 to 3 times as big. So it's like you open it up and you get like a thing like it's basically a phone with like a Game Boy Advance thing stuck on the bottom. It can run Switch games.
Yeah.
And the reason I was tempted by it, because it's also a clamshell thing, was because you have this toy that you can fit in your pocket with a bit of work.
Yeah.
Right? It would be a bit big.
Yeah.
Because it's basically a phone with a base.
Yeah.
But it's just this little toy. Yeah. And then you can run like a Switch game on it. Yeah. Like that's how powerful, that's a Switch emulator, right?
Yeah.
So it can run, you could probably run like, I don't know, maybe not Elden Ring, but like you could probably run like The Witcher on it. Like it's, I mean, The Witcher works on the Switch. So
like imagine if we did with computer technology what you could do with computer technology.
Yeah, and I don't know where I don't know why everything just costs more and more and gets slower and like what? Yeah, imagine if, because there's actually a few websites.
Well, I think this is actually the counter to it all. This is my we've had all our dark bits. We've had like the up and down, but this is you're talking about website, but this is the thing is so our razors that we both use are
safety razors.
Our safety razors. The safety razor technology existed for a very long time. It went out of fashion. It came back, and the companies that sell them, there's bigger manufacturing companies, but it started with small companies going, this is actually good technology.
Yeah.
We're going to try to make a good safety razor and sell it to people because shaving shouldn't be torture, which is what the triple-bladed cartridge razors are. Like, that hurts because it's pulling out your hair. It's not cutting it. And there's more and more products like that in the world where people are going, there's all this mass-produced garbage. We have an idea. We think we know how to make this thing. We're going to give it several iterations, and we're going to make it work. And yes, it is going to be 200% more expensive than what you could buy, but this won't break in your first use.
Yeah.
It will last you several years. It is high quality, is better than anything else.
Well, that's kind of the other disappointment I have is the third-party Chinese like SP I bought, right?
Yeah.
That lets you run an emulator on it. Apparently, a lot of the versions have a problem with the hinge. Like this hinge snaps. Because it's very hard to get hinge technology that is as... Like these things, I never even thought of the hinges being something that could break, right? Like they just last forever.
There's two companies...
They're made of Nintendium.
There's two companies that excel in their engineering the product.
Tonka and Nintendo?
Lego and Nintendo.
Tonka
is Tonka tough.
Yeah.
Tonka's a different level. Okay? Tonka and Toyota are a different level.
Yeah.
But
like... More people... I don't know where Nintendo gets this Nintendium from, but they need to share the minds, because their stuff just doesn't... Like, the GameCube controllers, that's actually... Even Nintendo, right? The Switch controllers suck, and they break so fast.
Yeah.
But like a GameCube controller, that thing's good for life. You can do whatever you want to it, and it keeps on trucking. That's our time, I guess.
Yes.
So.
But yeah, there is hope in the individual.
Everything's going downhill, and it'll just get worse from here. No, I do think you're right that individuals,
like a group,
it's the Vlak of Havel, right?
Yeah, a group of 20 people, or even a group of 5 people can start a manufacturing company that will produce things of high quality.
Like there's companies like 8-Bit Dough where they make amazing pro controllers for the Switch, and
your phone was brought probably by one of those groups.
My phone is like some Chinese knockoff thing, but it's solid and it works.
Yeah.
Like, and my MP3 player as well.
Yeah.
It's not as good as a Nano, but it's very cheap, and it does everything I want from an MP3 player. And it probably has more storage space than that thing, actually.
I doubt that.
It has 64 gigs. I think that's 32.
120.
Oh, 120. Jeez. Why is it so much on that? Like, jeez, that thing's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got the 64 gig little thing that... Now, that's the other... Like, things... Like, music. You get a high-quality music file, and it takes up, like 200 megabytes.
Yeah.
Which ridiculous. That's for this one, I think, isn't it?
No, it's for this one.
All right, well, we'll leave it there then.
Yeah.
All right. Ciao. Things will get better with individuals.
Yes.
All right, let's do the opening. Hello, and welcome to The Fool and the Philosopher.
The Philosopher and the Fool.